Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today it's time to have a look at another vehicle which is on the Update Danger Zone dev server, and this is a new premium vehicle that is coming to Germany. This is the Leopard 2, the PzBtl 123, and it's very similar to the standard Leopard 2A4. There's not too many differences between them, apart from you can see this one is furry. It's got a bunch of, well, I suppose netting on it, like camo netting, and that means that it's probably going to be a little bit harder to tell what it is, but it shouldn't be too bad. After doing a little bit of testing with this thing, the netting doesn't seem to stop too many like thermal signatures or anything like that, so the vast majority of vehicles that you're going to face at 10.0 shouldn't have too many issues distinguishing this thing. I have found with DLSS on, since it tries to smooth everything out, it's a little bit harder to see this thing, but nothing too crazy compared to the standard one. So what are you getting for this? Now this, first of all, is probably going to be a pack vehicle. We don't know if it's going to be or not, but it would be very surprising if it isn't. So what you get is a standard Leopard 2A4, which has access to good, camo netting on it. It also gets the standard 3-tone carc, which is not standard on other vehicles, so you get that, which is quite nice. And you also have the brown camouflage, the winter, and also the tricolor desert. All three work incredibly well. The carc is a great camo, should be standard on all of the general machines anyway, but unfortunately it isn't. But what you get underneath the customization or the camo of the vehicle is a very standard experience. The Leopard 2A4, which has access to a bunch of different things which make it pretty good at 10.0. You have a 120mm Rheinmetall 120L44, doesn't have the best rounds around at the moment, it used to, but now it only gets DM23, and if you compare that to stuff such as the M1A1 AIM or stuff such as even the terms, the DM23 kind of pales in comparison. 410, 346, 237mm. That doesn't mean that this thing needs a better round, it's just kind of an observation on the vehicle itself. So because it's a premium, you get this standard, so you don't have to worry about the heat grind, thank God. And then also it gets access to thermals, but only Gen 1 for the gunner. So nothing really else. It does get the laser rangefinder and also all of the other general options that you get, including artillery support and the mobility upgrades, and also something that is always criminally missed about the Leopard, which makes it very strong, is the smoke grenades. This thing gets access to 16 smoke grenades, and they fire off in sets of 4. And because of how you can time them while extinguishing fires or while doing stuff like that, you can generally get 5 smoke shots off or 5 sets of smoke grenades off, which can give you ultimate survivability in the vehicle itself. Another thing about the Leopard is it has blowout panels. You can bring along 16 pieces of ammunition, 1 in the breech, 15 in the blowout panel at the back, and you can have great survivability. This means shooting this thing in the front means that you probably only take out the loader, or you can shoot through the driver and hit these 2 crewmen as well. The commander does have fire control. It's a standard 4-man crew that you see on a lot of these vehicles, and also it gets a 1500 horsepower engine. This means it can motor around at a hell of a click compared to other vehicles, and that's what really puts the Leopard 2 kind of above everything else at its BR. There's a lot of vehicles at the BR with either slightly better reloads than it or have better rounds, but the mobility is where the Leopard really shines, just like how it does in the 2K as well, which is even faster than this thing. But you can see going forward, this thing can go at 68 kilometers an hour, and going backwards, it could go at 31 kilometers an hour. So you can really motor about the place. 55 tons though, so it's definitely a chunky monkey, and that is down to the fact that it has some extra armor on it. It has a bunch of composite when it comes to the turret, a bunch of armor protecting the gunner and the commander. You can see it has this composite armor behind the optics and then in front as well. Then on the other side it has a piece of composite armor keeping the loader alive. There's also some composites on the hull which keeps the driver alive and everything behind it. Usually if you want to shoot this thing, you want to shoot it in the breech, the driver's port or the lower glacis to be able to deal with it effectively. And the lower glacis, sometimes you just shoot straight through it and hit the engine and nothing else, which can be a little bit rough for it. But at the end of the day, you've got pretty good survivability. It's kind of like the Abrams, where its armor isn't the best. in the business, but what you end up having in this vehicle is you end up having a bunch of space in it. So you can see where the ammo is, and you can see how spacious the turret is, meaning that you can kind of shoot through a bunch of the different areas and not actually kill the crew or only hurt something such as the breach. The 10.0 lineup for Germany is super strong as well, and it's also just kind of on that edge of top tier. So you got the 2A4, the Radkampfwagen nowadays, the TAM2C, which is a very strong light tank, the Weasel, which is very strong, the PT-16, if you have that thing, this is a monster, the Leo 2K, the Ocelot, and also the Florakpanzer. The general ground lineup for Germany at 10.0 only gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and this will add to it as an extra MBT to be able to be used. It also has really good modification rewards on it, 678, 435, which is one of the nicest things about these vehicles. They're going to have pretty low repair costs for premiums and also have very high rewards. You can see the same thing with the Challenger right now with its crazy high RP reward. That's going to be the main selling point for this, because you're pretty much getting a very standard vehicle but very high rewards on it. And that's why I think a lot of people are going to go for this thing. If you want to grind through the tech tree efficiently, it's either going to be this or the L44. The L44 is probably going to be on sale. The Leopard, A1A1 L44 I should say, it's probably going to be on sale over the summer, so it might be worth having a look at. And also, at the same time, this one's going to come out, and it's going to come out swinging. It also has a iconic character from another game, as you can see on the back of it, the good old Among Us wonderful thing, which is always nice to see, and I'm sure nobody will make any memes about it, and it won't get really boring after about a month. And then also, it has a log, and I wanted to show you this log for one specific reason. It's uneven, and you know what's also uneven about the Leopard? Its tracks. They actually aren't in line with each other. Thought I'd annoy you today with some funny facts. So this tank is uneven, and it really annoys me. And if you know the reason why it's uneven when it comes to its actual tracks, then you know you may have access to some information that many others don't. So that's always nice to see. It is kind of an interesting reason why it is, and I would very highly recommend you looking it up why it is actually made like that. But this thing's mobility-wise, its thermals, and also its good optics, its good round, it all just adds to a nice package on top of this pretty cool camo netting, which is kind of the first of its type in the game. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have more of this stuff going forward, just like how we have the sandbags on the Challenger. We're going to get more of this stuff. And my guess is it won't come in the form of modifications, but it'll come in the form of premiums and also the Legends vehicles. I'm super happy to see this thing. I'm a little bit worried about top tier matchmaking, but then again, we have an Abrams squadron vehicle, we have a Leo 2 PL squadron vehicle, we have a bunch of other squadron vehicles and other premiums that are mucking it up. Why not add another one to the cluster? As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Merciless Reaper, Jerry Provolt, Mega Dino King, Professor X1718, Orange Tail, Sakoshi Tiger, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Eugen's Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, Moxie, B. Young, and Derek R., Barine, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.